It's June 1st, but it's going to be 44 degrees tonight, so I'm buttoning up the high tunnel and I'm working on doing some propagation and up potting, and I wanted to show you my thoughts on something I did. You've probably seen in past videos, I made these large wooden boxes that I've been using for propagation. What's great is that you can put a lot of plants in them, probably up to 200 actually. I have them all over the place, and they actually worked really well for most crops, especially elderberry. This is a Bob Gordon cultivar, and if you look, the success ratio looks to be almost 100%, which is pretty good for cuttings. However, there's some downsides. So what I thought was a great idea, building these wooden boxes, I could avoid plastic for this phase of propagation. There's some downsides to it. So am I going to do it again? Probably, but I'm going to do it for more specific applications. The single biggest issue I have with it is that unless you get to the plants early, if you're going to plant them this close together, it's actually really hard to tease them out and get them to a point where you can individually pot them up like I did this one here, because the roots are really, really entwined. Now, I could also have done this a couple weeks ago and that would have been preferable, but I really prefer waiting until there's at least a little bit of healthy new growth, so I know the roots are large and can probably handle transplanting. Another issue is that these boxes are not light when they're empty, and especially if the wood is wet. But when they're full of a mix like this, they're probably between 60 and 70 pounds more when they're wet. So they're pretty stationary. They're hard to move around once they're full. They're only 1-inch boards. I've also had trouble with the sides pulling off when I go to push them around. So I've had to run extra screws in on top of the crown staples I used initially to build them. I'd say all in all, the wooden boxes are a success. It's just the downsides are pretty substantial. I can't really move them, and I'm afraid of too much root damage when I am taking them out and up potting them or taking them out to sell. So what I think I'm going to do instead of these boxes next year for many crops is I'm going to switch to these cups. These are wax paper cups. They're supposed to last a while. I need them to last 60 to 90 days in a greenhouse context. I'm going to start my cuttings directly in these cups and hope that I can let them get much larger than I could in this box, and two, I can sell them in this cup.